We've all been there, trying to finalize a charcoal study or a base layer of oil while your bed stares at you from across the room. There's a specific kind of creative guilt that happens when your living space and your making space are the same. You never fully feel off, but you're never fully on either. For me, the detached studio is a cognitive airlock. That 10-minute walk from my front door to this door is where I shed the student or the roommate and become the maker. It's about context-dependent memory. My brain knows that when I'm in this light, surrounded by these smells of linseed oil and graphite, there's only one objective: output. Then there's the physical reality. As a fine arts student, you realize quickly that scale requires space and safety. You can't exactly ventilate a studio-grade solvent in a bedroom without affecting your sleep. And you can't step back 10 feet to check the composition of a 6-foot canvas if you're hitting your dresser. A detached space allows for the mess. In a shared living space, you're constantly cleaning up just to exist. Here, the mess is a living archive of the process. I can leave a palette out overnight. I can leave my paints and brushes exactly where I left off. That lack of setup and teardown time saves me hours of creative momentum every week. But I'm not the only one navigating this boundary. I share this ecosystem with Archie, and our dynamic is what turns this room into a studio.
So for me personally, I think one of the biggest advantages is probably net rest, which just means that like when you live and work in the exact same space, it gets really, really hard to rest because you're spending most of your conscious time working. So it gets into your head that this is a space where I work, where I'm active, and it makes it kind of hard to relax and sleep, or sometimes it can make it really hard to do the opposite, to work in there, because you sleep in there and you relax in there at the same time. So having a space that's far physically and mentally like separated from where I rest makes me a lot more productive.
To the creatives watching this, you know that environment dictates the quality of the work. If my environment is cluttered with domestic distractions, my focus suffers. This space is a controlled variable. I control the lighting for my perception, the acoustics for my focused vision, and the visual noise of the room. Ultimately, the detached studio is about respecting the craft. It's an investment in the idea that what I'm working on is important enough to have its own home. It allows me to be more intentional with my time. When I'm here, I'm working. And when I leave, I can actually rest. And that rest is what fuels the next day of creation.